Hello, and welcome to a visit with Nana and Papa. Sorry about the blinding lights. Hoping it doesn't blow me out. I gotta change, sit more comfortable. I recommend you get some water, which I did have and I don't have. Paused. Okay, this is my third attempt. Hopefully this one works. I think we're a little crooked, but we're just gonna have to suck it up. Sorry about the shadows, sorry about the light, having to use a lamp, because I tried to do it during where there was more light, but unfortunately I forgot to plug in the microphone. And then when I found the microphone, well, after I was editing, I found the microphone and went to record, and you can't see anything because there's not enough light. So I have an artificial light blinding me, but hopefully y'all can see me. What am I wearing? This is the V Delicious crop by Knits. I bar none wear this more than anything else. The second to it is I have a gray sweater that I have no idea what pattern it started out, but this I wear more than anything else. It is not a full-length sleeve, and my sleeves are definitely not even. Pretty certain that I messed up the decreases somewhere along the way. I don't care. They have somewhat stretched out and somewhat felted a little bit. However, considering that I made this sweater, or this top, it's not really a sweater, but this top 2 years ago, I think. Pretty sure 2, maybe 3. But whenever I did, I have worn it at least once a week ever since then. And so, yeah, it gets worn a lot. This is my only finished object, and even though I'm calling it finished, I did not do the additional optional border because, y'all, this thing is humongo. Like, it is redonkadonk bigger than me. And it is, if I wear it like this, which I do when it's really, really cold, I will wear my shawl like this and put a coat around, but like, I don't know any coat that's gonna go around this massive amount of whatever. And when I haven't woven the ends on the back on my last clue. All the rest of them are done, but my last clue, they are not trimmed and it's not blocked, and I'm okay with that. But, and even this way, it's like once I put it down, it's past my elbow, it's near my bum, and I don't need anything that long. It just don't. Anyway, the yarns I used are core fingering, and a Surrey silk that I dyed myself in pink, and I think it's beautiful. I think the color choices were a very good choice. I'm very happy with it. I do not have any other finished objects. I do have a lot of whips, and since I haven't gone through my whips of late, I thought we would go through all of them. Like, all of them. All the whips I have on the needles. If I'm not showing it to you today, it has been frogged. So, let's start with what we are actively working on. This is extremely loosely based on the Granny Cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I'll put a photo right here when I'm editing of the pattern I based it on, and then you'll look at this and go, that looks nothing like it, and I'll go, I told you, loosely based on, extremely loosely based on. But this is the front, and this is the back, and The only thing that remained the same is the number of stitches that I started with and the number of stitches that I picked up for just the fronts to start going down. Other than that, there's nothing the same. Like, this was the gauge when I picked up stitches for the underarm. I picked up stitches or cast on stitches for the underarm. I did that entirely based on my husband. Like, I tried this on him and I broke for the sleeve when it looked like it made sense. I have made it looser because I want this to be a jacket-like cardigan. It will have a shawl collar on it so that it can be lifted up like a jacket and pulled in to warm the ears and etc., which is what he wanted. And it will eventually, on that button band, have actual buttons to close it. I am judging how long it needs to be based on the Celtic knot, and I need to get back to where it has the three cables where they just start. So not where they come back together, but where they break apart. That is where I need to get back to, and I'm right here. So all I have left is this little bit right in here to finish, and then I need to start the ribbing for the bottom for the size he wants it to be. And everything has been trying on and checking as we go, and he's been making those decisions. I just knit it. How I did the modifications, hold on, sorry. What I did is I took the cables that she had, and he did it. He liked the shape of the garment, but he really wanted a Celtic knot. So I went across the back and determined how many stitches for his size would be across the back and how many cable repeats. And then I found the Celtic knot that he really wanted and figured out how many stitches it took, and then put that in the middle, and then determined how many stitches on the outside I would need in order to be able to put the cables kind of where they were. I think one of the cables may still be the original cable that was in her pattern. I'm not entirely certain. And then I found cables that would go so that now the pattern as it's written, I have a cable that repeats every 8 rows and a cable that there's a cable cross that the Celtic knot has cables every right side row, so every 2 rows you're doing a cable twist. Then another cable has a cable cross every 4 rows, but it's an 8 row repeat, but it cables across every 4 rows. And then the other cable crosses only every 8 rows. So how it's written is that when I do the specific cross on the 8 row repeat that crosses every 4 times, I'm doing a cable cross on all 3 charts. Otherwise, I'm only doing crosses on the 8 stitch cross and the Celtic knot, or I'm only crossing the Celtic knot, and they always stay the same, and it's always the same. And I wanted that because I wanted a pattern that I knew I wouldn't have to keep track of which row I'm on for this chart and which row I'm on for this chart and which row I'm on for that chart. I didn't want to have to do that. I wanted to be able to look and go, okay, am I crossing on this specific cross for this specific chart? Alright, that means everyone's getting it. If it's not that one, am I crossing the other way on that chart? No, I'm not. Only the Celtic is. Oh, yes, I am. Okay, both of them are getting it. So just keeps it easier for me, so I know what I'm doing on every single row. And I have it so much memorized that I very rarely look at the chart. Once in a while for the Celtic knot, I might just check, is this a front cross or a back cross? Because it is a 32 row repeat, sometimes I forget which way I need to do that particular cross, but otherwise not too bad. The next active whip is and it's all tangled up from moving it around so much. This is the pattern is called the Turtleneck tube. However, for this particular version, I did a mock turtle instead of the full turtleneck. Just did a mock because it is in fingering weight to make it much lighter. And I changed the cast on to be big enough because I did reduce the size of the stitches so much. I changed the beginning cast on, but otherwise I'm following the pattern exact because the pattern talks in inches, how many inches you do increases for. And then when I got to getting close to where I needed to join, I had my friend who it's a gift for try it on, and we determined that the front was ready to join, but the back needed more length and needed more width. So we added additional increases to the back and additional length, and then I joined in the round, and now I only have about maybe 3/4 of an inch from when I joined in the round so far, and I only joined in the round yesterday evening or afternoon. We tested it. Today is Monday, and yesterday we got together and I was able to have her try it on. So this is knit in Magpie fibers, Swanky sock, in the color Careless Whisper, and I'm using a US 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter. I'm pretty certain. I know if I need to read it off of here, I'm probably not going to be able to read it because I can never read off of a trigo needle. Not even kind of. Sorry, all my eyeballs are old and they're not good. I think it says 3.25, but it's US 3, whatever millimeters that may be. Once it's done, I'll see if she'll let me take a picture and y'all can see her in that. And I'm still in the first skein. I have this much left of the first skein, and not realizing I did it, I wound up 2 other skeins, so I have way more than I need for this sweater wound and ready to go. But that's my second whip, and this is my mostly mindless, the closest to mindless knitting that I have. If you have a project similar to this where there's just a little section of something where you have to pay attention, a little ribbing here or there, or a little lace here or there, just put stitch markers, so then when you get to the stitch marker, it tells your hand, hey, pay attention, and then you get past it, you can go back into your mindless, you hit the stitch marker, oh, pay attention again. It can really make a difference, at least it does for me. My next active whip, and then we have a whole bunch of them that are not active, and we'll go into them in a moment, is this cardigan. And it's technically called the For the Love of Brioche cardigan. It is for me. It doesn't look like it's going to fit me, but when I tried it on, it fit, so we'll see. It has absolutely brilliant shaping. Don't know if you guys will be able to see the stitching, but you just using increases creates this look, and these stitches going this way, and then has stitches going down, and the increases across the sleeve for the sleeve shaping and the body shaping, and then the back is just beautiful, and the other sleeve as well. It is not a difficult stitching to do, however, and the brioche is easy. If brioche is something that's difficult for you or you haven't really tried it, you can use this. Hold on. I am so sorry, y'all. You can absolutely use this pattern to learn brioche if garment construction is not difficult for you. Because the only thing that makes this pattern even kind of difficult is that you have increases happening at different rates. So one part is increasing maybe every 4 rows, and another one is every 6 rows, and another one is every 20 rows. So if that's not difficult for you to keep track of 2 different increase rates or 3 different increase rates, or what's increasing where and when, I use colored markers to make it help me, And it is a pattern that you need to read the entire pattern before you start, so that you know what's happening, so you don't miss an instruction and have to rip back and, oh yeah, now I'm doing. So that's the only caveat. But as far as brilliant construction, I have not had a garment this brilliantly constructed yet. If they're out there and you know of one that does this, where you're not having to pick up here and you're not having to pick up there, because it's just in increases how they're creating that shaping, increases, short rows, whatever, but you're not actually, this has no short rows in it. It has no, it's literally just knits and slips and brioche increases, which are knit, yarn over knit. That's the only stitches that exist in this entire garment. Knit, slip 1 knitwise, slip 1 purlwise with a yarn over, and brioche knit, which is just a knitting the wrap stitch, and then brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit. That's all that exists in this entire garment. So I strongly recommend this pattern. So that's, and this is knit in core fingering, and this is the color Mariner, and you'll find out soon how much I love core fingering. Oh, you can see core fingering, and I have hopes to have another core fingering on the go soon. Alright, so we talked about the turtleneck tube, and this was my test knit for the turtleneck tube. It fits me perfectly. It is not done because I paused on the ribbing, because if I knit the ribbing to the full length, it's just going to roll up, because I have a belly that I really need to lose, and I have a bum that I really need to lose some inches on, and a ribbed bottom of a tube top does not look good on me, and there is no way to make it look good on me. However, my husband and I are really working on better diet and movement and trying to get healthy, and because of that, I've decided to put my ribbing on a cord and hold off until the spring to see if I manage to actually lose some of the inches because then I can rip back, do some decreasing, and put it back on the needles and do the ribbing that will fit me and look better on me, and maybe not roll so bad. But either way, it's on hold. And then I've told the designer the pattern works as written. I was not able to give her weights, so if she needs the weights, I need to ask her. I can go ahead and finish it and then gift it to someone, I guess. But man, that yarn, I'd rather rip it back out and keep it. Oh, and that yarn. I am such a horrible podcaster. This yarn is possibly my second favorite yarn in the entirety of the world. This is Kelbourne Woolens Scout. And if you like non-superwash yarn, this is just lovely. It's unfortunately it's DK, so it's not as lightweight. So here in Austin, maybe not I'm not in Austin, but close enough. Here in Central Texas, this is probably not the #1 yarn to use because it's so warm. However, it knits up so nice. I don't know. I haven't even blocked it yet, y'all. And that is pretty accurate for the color of this yarn. It's almost dead accurate. And I love it. And on the green train, I also had another green top. This is made from Pure Silk, Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. It is a tank top. As you can see how much lower the back is than the front? Every time I look at it, I'm like, is that really what I want? But it doesn't matter. I just need to keep knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and just get over my nervousness and just knit and make it as long as I can stand it. It's supposed to be a tank top. It's not, like, I may add some I-cord, but it doesn't need it because of the way that it was constructed. It was constructed to have a 2-stitch I-cord on the edges, so I don't have to go back and do anything to the edges at all. Not certain that I love the Pure Silk working with it. It does tend to hurt my hands a lot more than wool does, but it should be much lighter. I don't know if it will or not, but they say it's supposed to be, so we shall see. Either way, at this moment, I'm not putting any work into it. I haven't been putting any work into it. It might get pulled back out here soon. It might not. We already talked about that, so it can come to the side. Alright, my next whip is more of a failure, and I think I just need to rip it out and it was a tube, so here's the remainder of the tube. And here's my attempt, which has been pretty much... Hello, this is Editing Valerie, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I don't have a pattern for this weird mitten that I started doing, and I don't remember the dyer of the yarn, but I know that she has a podcast on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll link it below. I do know that she's from Ukraine, but married and living in the Netherlands, and I loved her podcast. I haven't seen it in quite some time. I know that she had Small Child. I don't know if she had another one since, but that's where the yarn came from. Such a failure all the way around, but so I have I was making a mitten, and what I was gonna do is turn the mitten into like put ribbing up here and then make another mitten with ribbing, but I don't like the thumb, and I don't like, when I knit it, I didn't like it, so I pulled it back, and I just haven't frogged the whole thing, and I don't know. I think I just need to frog it back to just the beginning and maybe use it as the cuff of a sock with a different yarn. I think that might be alright. And then do another one just like it. I don't know. Either way, definitely not a successful project, and I found it because I had totally forgot it was even on the needles. And now we go to the longest standing whip in my projects that hasn't been frogged. And I don't know if any of y'all remember this, but this was, emphasis on was, the Westknits knit along, and I did 2 of them for the clue 1. I did 2, and then I added a panel on both sides. I'm still working on this side, but I added a panel, and then the plan was to pick up at the bottom and knit a sweater, a top. And to be honest, it was such a failure the first time, and like, it looked horrible, so I ripped it back so that I could get where I picked up these sections, and that was so horrible, picking it back, ripping it back, because I didn't realize that it went so far back, and I had done the joining before I did my next row of stockinette underneath these. So anyway, I really need to pick it back up, and I need to try and turn it into a sweater and finish it, because I know that if I finish it, I know that I really, really like the look of this, and if I can make it where it will fit me, I'll wear it, and I'll wear it a lot. The other problem is I don't like how big this neckband is. Like, it's wonkin' huge, but maybe it's okay. And it feels more straight than rounded, which also bugs me. And I feel like maybe I should have made my panels wider, and I also feel like one of them came out wider than the other, but maybe not, because I'm not, no, they're the same. So I don't know, I need to pick it back up and just buckle up Buttercup and get it done. But anyhow, that's my other long-standing whip. I did have a blue hat that was on the go, and I just ripped it out. That was the only other. Well, I also had a shawl. I don't know if you all remember, I was doing, I think it was called something woods or woods something, and I want to say it was by Tammy Gore, but I could be wrong. There's a shawl. I don't like knitting shawls, and so I did not manage to finish it, and I knew that I would never pick it back up, and so rather than frogging it, I sent the entire shawl, yarn, everything, extra yarn, all of it. I sent it to a friend in Nebraska because she said that she would like it, and I told her she can finish the shawl or she can rip it out and use it for something else. She can do whatever she wants. It's now hers. The yarn was Lobby Enemy yarn that I got at a retreat here at in Austin, the Hill Country Weavers retreat that I went to, and so it was like gifting a gift, but not in a mean way. Like, I'm not using it, I'm not working with it, and might as well go to someone who is going to use it. And it was, the yarn has a pretty good amount of alpaca, and it was super drapey. Like, you know, when I hold this yarn, it stands, but, you know, like, that has a little tiny bit. This yarn was like, if I hold it like this, it was going like this. It had no structure to it at all. It just would go and fall over because it was not drapey of a yarn, which is what you want in a shawl, not necessarily what I want in my sweaters. So now that I pulled this out, let's go ahead and talk. This is my acquisitions. I had, it's at the bottom, of course it is. I had already these two skeins of yarn. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. When I ordered these, I thought I had ordered 2 of these, but I didn't. And so I'm just going to give you a warning that on the Upland Fiber store, when you click on a picture of a color, it does not change the color down below. So you need to make sure that you're choosing the right color name that goes with the color, because for some reason picking the color picture doesn't change the color that you're ordering. You have to make sure it gets changed down below. Anyway, so I did receive these, and I don't mind because I love this yarn so much. And then I thought, well, this would be really good as a main color in between a whole bunch of color work. So I got the purple, and this you may be going, what purple? That ain't purple. But if I hold it up to the gray, you can see it's not the gray. Well, maybe you can't, but it's definitely not the same shade as the gray, and it's not the same shade as the green, and it is not the same shade as the blue. And I don't know if that's coming out right, but it is purple. But it is called Storm. At least I think it's purple. Maybe it's not. It's called Storm. So I have this color. I have the green. I have the pink. I have the brown and the baby blue. And what I thought was this color is going to be separating them. And then I have, oops, I let it fall, sorry. I still have some of the light gray and the dark gray, but mostly I was thinking the light gray. But what I figured is that I can do sections with this purple and the light gray, and then I can do sections of the green and the pink and sections of the brown and the blue. And then if I wanted, I could do brown and pink, I could do blue and purple, I could do green and gray, just depending on what pattern I choose. But I thought it was a really good palette for using this as the main color in between the different bursts of color work, and on the cuffs and the neckband and the hem. And so I already had these and one of these, but I think hey, editing Valerie back, whatever. Just wanted to end this. I got off on a really wild rant after this that it's not necessary. Just wanted to tell everyone, if you are having a tough time, you're not alone. Reach out to others, find your tribe, I guess. If you don't have a tribe, I still do Zooms on Sundays. I try to, and I have Zooms on Tuesday. sometimes on Thursday, but you can also just DM me. I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone. No matter how things wash out in the next few months, in the next year, as long as I'm this side of the grass and I can help, let me know. That's it. Hope y'all have a great night.